dropping. Oh boy, I didn't write that one. Number album this is for him. It's got to be like
Three.
only three. I thought he's. It seems like he's put out a lot more stuff, but
Yeah.
um,
Bucket List Project, Care for Me, and now Few Good Things. Those are like his major works. He has obviously some Pivot Gang projects. That's the most recent thing he's been on from 2019. But this is his first, full length since Care for Me, which came out nearly 4 years ago, April 2018.
yeah, and maybe that's where my belief that this couldn't be only album number three from comes from is that he's been around for quite a while now. I mean, this is I guess 6 years since Bucket List Project dropped.
Yeah.
So to only get three albums is a bit, I don't know, not like low output, but lot more people are putting out a lot more stuff than that.
Yeah, I mean the breakout track for him is like 10 years old at this point. Hose with Mick
Mm.
Jenkins. That was like the huge like local Chicago smash that, you know, led to him jumping on acid rap with Chance, and the rest is history. So he's been around a long ass time, but he seems to be very methodical in his career. He actually wrote an op-ed about a year ago on Complex about his strategies and techniques and planning of being an independent musician and how he's made it into a sustainable career for himself. So definitely seems like a thoughtful guy, and part of that seems to be taking his time with his music. Although there's been plenty of loose singles and features in the interim, but the projects, yeah, they seem to take their time.
Do you feel like the time between uh, Care for Me and Few Good Things paid off with
Mm.
a good album for Saba?
Yeah, I was not blown away by Few Good Things. I was sufficiently whelmed. I think there's plenty of moments that I liked, familiar things he's done before. And in reflection, I was like, I never loved the other two albums either. Appreciate a lot about them. Appreciate his talent, his abilities. And he makes a lot of songs I like. But I think for me, with Few Good Things, there almost was like a grinding down of some of the edges, little softer melodic sense here. Not that he hadn't done melody before. It's pretty popular within like that Chicago jazz rap umbrella that we associate Saba with. But I think for me, some of these songs I think were just a little too edgeless. Like Fearmonger, one of those lead singles, I thought was just a little meh to me. However, there's still some things I liked. Um, I definitely like Saba when he was more on his rap shit. He was on the Pivot Gang album, and gets on that a little bit here on the album.
Yeah, it's actually funny. Fearmonger was one of the ones I wrote down, just because I like the more upbeat poppy sound of it.
Hmm.
Um,
The hook.
and I think yeah, I think for Saba, I think when I'm going into this album, I'm expecting to hear pretty strong lyrics,
Mm.
something smooth or something that you can kind of just like bop to. And I think the moments in the album that worked the least for me, but I get the sense that maybe worked best for you, were some of the moments like in the second half, like
Mhm.
um, if I had a dollar, something like that, where it's a little heavier. The sound is a little bit
Yeah.
like stronger. And I think we kind of were looking for different things in this album and probably feel differently about it. Cause I thought this was a really solid showing. I don't think it's going to be like a best rap album of the year type thing, but
Yeah.
I found this to be just a really pleasurable listen all the way through. Maybe sufficiently whelmed is exactly how I felt. And I
Right.
just
Yeah.
left
It's not
feeling pretty
boring.
satisfied.
Yeah. Definitely not boring. I think just like when I listen to this and I hear Still with Black and Smino, it's like, oh well, that song didn't do too much for me. His song World in My Hands with Smino on Bucket List Project is my favorite Bucket List Project song. So inevitably that song is just not gonna, deliver for me, having it go up against that. But I think just kind of simpler songs that like Stop That, which has a video. Those are just really good verses from
Mhm.
Saba. The lyrics are still there, his it's been a while since I believe it was his cousin who died, and that obviously informed much of Care for Me. Still pretty present on this album, but he also, I think kind of broadens that. But Stop That, even though it's just simple rapping, it stuck with me there. I also appreciated Survivor's Guilt with G Herbo just because
Yeah.
that almost as like a nod to the two sides of Chicago rap music the past, 5, 7 years with the Chicago jazz rap sound and the Chicago drill sound. Obviously, G Herbo, a big part of that. So that one made sense to me. I like Soldier with his fellow Pivot Gang uh, compatriots there.
Yeah, Soldiers stand out for me as well.
Yeah. And I also thought Crazy Bone come my way. Saba and him sounded real good together, man. Shout out Bone Thugs. That was a good one. Kind of impressive.
Yeah, I think going back to Survivor's Guilt, the intensity that Saba brings in that whole song and
Yeah.
his versus it, I saw some places kind of comparing it to like Kendrick, and it does very much have that Kendrick like energy to it. Um, I also like you mentioned Soldier. I think the production on that is probably the best and most
Yeah. The
interesting production
drums.
in the whole. Oh yeah, the drums are amazing. I liked One Way a lot. One of the first songs, and probably one of I mean, there's what, 3 tracks on here where he doesn't have I think only 2 tracks where he doesn't have a person with him, a
Yeah.
feature on this. So, I for that to be one of the standouts for me, I thought was pretty impressive. I also thought his him going back and forth with Black Thought on Few Good Things was pretty well done.
Oh
He
yeah.
can kind of hold his own with anybody, which is Black Thought is no chump when it comes to
Nah,
rap.
that's for sure. Yeah, uh, definitely saw a lot of the Kendrick comps with Survivor's Guild, but what immediately stood out to me actually was Soldier. I thought that hook definitely reminded me of something you'd hear in a Kendrick
Hmm.
song as well. So the inspirations are well taken. Collaborating with Black Thought obviously speaks for itself. I was
Yeah,
just thinking, listening to this. Obviously it's been a while since we got a new Saba album. I just kind of thinking about like this type of Chicago rap, like where we stand with that. Like we talked about Mick Jenkins pretty recently, but if you kind of just think about everyone in this scene, no one has truly exploded. Like Saba has steadily grown, and he actually talked about how like his biggest song now on streaming, Photosynthesis, was not a big hit right away. Like he's pretty self-aware of that. But you think about like this whole scene, Chance the Rapper not making music that sounded like this on the big day too much, and also critically has come under a reevaluation recently with the music he's made. No Name doesn't seem to be super active as an artist right now. Her creative pursuits are definitely elsewhere, more in the activism space, and
yeah,
everything that goes on with her. There's a lot going on. Saba takes a while to put out music. Mick Jenkins is, pretty underground, pretty internet. Smino, kind of the same deal. So it's just kind of funny to reflect on this group. Vic Mensa definitely not making Chicago jazz rap anymore. So
yeah,
kind of interesting to see where everyone's at.
yeah. That's a really good point. I wonder, as we think about um, these rappers and how where they come from really informs their sound, especially coming up. Maybe Chicago rap just is not as I don't know, popular or as transferable to mainstream success as it was back in
Yeah,
the
well,
early
at
2010s.
least not like that. Now Chicago rap is was Juice World and is Polo
Right.
G. That's what
True.
Chicago is right now. So he's got to remember, like this Chicago jazz rap scene, that worldview is more 2016 than it is 2022. You just
Right.
gotta keep up.
Always evolving. We're staying on top of it. We're gonna be throwing a track from this album, A
Oh
Few
yeah.
Good Things, onto our Nostalgia Best of 2022. So find that on Spotify and give it a follow.